Welcome to The Advocate, a program that thrashes out all the topical issues of the day.
When you are in government, you don't see nothing wrong with whatever is happening. The moment you are out there, everything is wrong.
You can't even see many women now, and when they're there, they're not even really making a mark, and then they have an NYSC problem and this and that.
One of the reasons why we don't have more women in politics in Nigeria is for as long as political meetings continue to take place in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
Really disastrous for a president
to even say
be unaware of the chief
It's
justice.
a ploy. It could be a strategy.
That strategy was
Backfired.
terrible strategy. Because the buck stops at your table.
Whether it's that we don't look after our cities, and quite frankly, Nigeria is becoming a very ugly place.
When you are the only one feeding the people with this news and there is nobody countering them, it becomes, the news.
Welcome to The Advocate. Wow, it's our 10th edition already. And in typical Advocate tradition, we are poised to ask those hard questions and confront those hard truths. No holds barred. Though the elections have just concluded, Ireti is wasting no time making demands of the new governor. Boris is addressing the sexual performance of men in relationships. Must it be a matter of life and death? Ekene puts it to us that we are in survival mode and challenges. What do the tough do when the going gets tough? Chuka is linking our dilapidated structures with an abandonment of life. Might he be making a mountain out of a molehill? So we come to me. I'll be asking in typical on-PC manner, do women really want equality? Yes, you heard me correctly. Back in a moment. I believe this is a question we all need to ask ourselves. Feminists have been pushing the narrative that life as a woman is so much worse than it is for men. But is this really the case? Most of us don't want to go Dutch on dates, work dirty and dangerous jobs, get drafted if there is a war, and we certainly don't have to prove our ownership of our children to a court after a divorce. We don't want to play the role of provider or protector unless we have no choice. Men accept and take on these roles and responsibilities voluntarily, and so many of us take these sacrifices for granted. Should women be paid the same as men for doing the same work? Absolutely, but this debate is misleading. There are several reasons why men earn more. For one, they work longer hours and take less time off work. In Father and Child Reunion, For Our Rights, women provided an emotional womb akin to love. Men provided a financial womb that took them away from their purpose, loving and supporting the family. Men loved the family by being disconnected. Women love the family by being connected. Traditionally, women's role had the love advantage and the emotional advantage. If we're really serious about equality, then we need to first find out what life really is like for men. We also need to be talking about equal responsibilities alongside equal rights. And we definitely need to be having honest discussions on our biological differences. If we don't, we will get nowhere and keep complaining about trivial things like manspreading and wondering why we can't have it all, while believing men do. There you go, guys. What do you think?
Elaborate on the man spreading.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how that comes in.
It's there.
Thing now for against men. The truth of the matter is, there's no reason why two people doing the same work should not be paid the same thing. But are they doing the same work? Are they putting in the same effort into the work, the same time? And then, if are people going to agree and accept to do certain jobs, whether you're a woman or a man? Because as Uche has rightly said, the women run away from the hard tasks, the ones that are manually hard.
Okay.
Not mentally,
The physical.
I'm sorry, let me just come in before Ireti comes in, because I know Ireti is poised to jump in this one. I just feel that issues are being muddled up. There's equity, which of course you said, if you're doing the same job, you should be paid the same wages, which often happens anyway, that women are doing the same job. I don't think difference of time and effort is a function of whether you're a woman or a man. Women put in a lot of effort. Even using myself as an example, knowing the way people view women, and when they're employing you, they think, this woman comes with her children. I tend to go the extra mile not to take advantage of that. So I wouldn't really generalize and say, oh, women take time off work because you're a woman. So then the other issue of trying to make women prove a point by doing hard labor, you're a woman, so clearly you don't have the same strength as a man, and you're not trying to establish that you do. There are other areas where you make up for that. So I really don't think we need to be proving equality by assessing whether a woman can lift heavy burden or anything, because there are areas where the woman more than does her share of the work. Okay. And that's as much as I want to say.
I'll just add one more thing on that physical thing. You see, what I was talking with somebody a few days ago, and I said, we're animals, and we will always revert to some animalistic position when we're pushed to the wall. And I said to the person, until a woman can be as physical, rough, tough as the men will never agree those who are, it's not every man that's very sophisticated and all that, but they will always continue to think that.
To be British, you mean?
British, yeah.
No. I mean, I'm just correcting
yes.
or helping them along.
I'm wondering why should that be the standard? Because
we're animals and we keep forgetting that we are.
You can elevate your vision. I'm just trying to say, because when I was reading up about her passage, I came across a certain lady in America whom I think she worked under Roosevelt. I think her name was Frances something, and she was the one who, in a way, advocated for this welfare state system. And really, that's exactly what we should be looking towards, where a country is measured by how well they lift up the weaker parts. So, enable other people to perform at their optimum. Yes. So, women bear children. You're a product of a woman who bore a child. Exactly. But you also know that woman can be fulfilled if she's put in a situation where she can work and also look after the home front. And if you give her that enabling environment, some people even provide creches in their work environment, she'll probably outperform.
I don't even think that's what Uche is talking about. Uche, Uche, what do you really think?
Yeah, basically, what I'm talking about is...
No, what do you really think?
Think about what?
Do you think women want to be equal to men?
I actually don't think many women want to be equal in the sense that it has been pushed by the feminists. I was reading up about this thing, because even me, I sit there sometimes saying, what is all this whole equality? What are we really fighting for, And I went on this, and I discovered there's like a women equality political party, and they want equality on practically every level. And what I'm thinking of, the way I look at life, is that I feel like our roles should support each other. I don't believe that we should be fighting for equality in that sense. No, I don't think we should be doing that. I think we should just be looking at how we can complement each other. So, for instance, if I feel like if women are doing the whole, I want to be equal to man, I want to be all of those things, then we better get ready to pay our bills, as in when we go on a date, we better be ready to pay the bill on a date. There shouldn't be those things. We better be thinking, we better be opening the doors for men. If men can take it to a distance, are we ready for that? Okay. I think most women still want to maintain that they're women, and they want that attention and that love and care that comes from men,
Okay, so
I'm not up for all this hardened...
Here's what I'm hearing from you. I'm hearing a limited understanding and a narrow understanding of what feminism is about. Okay. Which is what typically happens when the word feminist is dropped down. Equal to is different to equal with. Very different. Right. Very, very different. This is not about the physical. It's very much about the fact that patriarchal structures have been harmful, not just to the growth and the progress of women, but also to men. And I will give you an example, since you use men as your example. Men are not invited to be vulnerable. They're told, man up, pay for the bills, do this, do that. Many men are thinking, I want to cry. I can't afford this. There are more men who are vulnerable, which is why men commit suicide, than there are men who are... No, there are more. I will argue this with you. There are more. Go and check the statistics. Men commit suicide. Absolutely not true, Chuka. Absolutely not true. That's why men die earlier. More men die earlier than women. That's why more men commit suicide. Because the societal structure, which are patriarchal structures, have put a lot of pressure on men, and therefore demeaning and devaluing women.
I have heard about men committing, more men committing suicide.
If you look at what patriarchy is the crime here. Patriarchy is the enemy here.
Wow.
To both men and women.
To both men and women. It's the enemy of society. That's what the problem is. The problem is not men. The problem is structures of patriarchy. You mentioned about children, right?
Well, I didn't actually.
No, you mentioned about kids.
Okay, in the quote.
In your intro, you mentioned about kids. Now, often a lot of men complain that when they go to family court, they make very good fathers, but the children often go to where? It will be handed more times than not, the woman will get custody. Who do you think created those laws? Men, based on patriarchy.
I think what's happening here is that the feminist message seems not to be, is a confusing message.
Lost in translation.
Yes.
Because many can't be bothered to read up about it.
And so, because a lot of the feminists are confused about what they really want about this message. And so that's why it is very confusing. You listen to Ereti, the message is different from when you listen to Chimamanda Adichie, you listen to some other people. So you get conflicting message, and so the message is not clear. It's like, we want equal status with men. Some it's like, we want to complement. Others says, look, no, what we just want is we want a supporting role. So if the message is that confusing, then there's need first and foremost to look inward.
My own final point is this. When they were all arguing about women's tennis and men's tennis.
Yes, I came across a lot of that.
And how they should be paid equally. And I said, no way. There's no doubt that the man's tennis
is longer,
way engaging, better played,
longer.
Is it the engagement or the length?
Forget the longer.
Apparently they draw the viewership more than women's tennis.
That's because of the way it's been packaged over the years.
Hang on. Libros is right. They have to sit back and plan a better way of bringing these things forward.
What people choose to be deliberately misunderstanding feminism.
No.
It is okay.
Well, I need to close this out, but I have to disagree with that. I really do believe the feminist movement or the message is very confused, even for us women. Okay, I must say I thoroughly enjoyed that. Sit tight, Ereti will be doing some heavy lifting on the other side of the break.